One-shot manga. They are an important yet often overlooked aspect of the medium. For those that don't know, a one-shot manga is just a story that goes for one singular chapter. They aim to give you a snippet of the author's writing and drawing skills, as well as tell stories they don't get to in their main series. One-shot manga also provides new authors a quick way to get their names out there, and most manga produced start as one-shots pitched to the publishers, like Number 9 by Gege Akutami, which laid the groundwork for what would become Jujutsu Kaisen. In today's video, I will be recommending 5 one-shot manga I enjoyed. I will be spoiling a bit of their stories, but I will aim to keep out major spoilers if I can. So if you would like to avoid spoilers, please click off the video now, but if not, please enjoy. The first one-shot I will be talking about is Puppet by Sui Ishida. Sui Ishida is a phenomenal author best known for Tokyo Ghoul, a story about a human boy being turned into a ghoul and he struggles to exist in between two different worlds. Now, after he finished writing Tokyo Ghoul, Sui Ishida took a couple years off from making manga, but during that break he created the art for a game called Jack Gene. The one-shot I'm talking about is set in the world of Jack Gene, so I won't spoil the game as the one-shot covers what the school in the series is about anyway. There are 2 types of people in this world, leads and extras. Univale Drama School, an all-boys school where both male and female roles are played by men. The male roles are called Jacks and the female ones are called Genes. This is the setting of Puppet and it quickly caught my attention because there's so much you could do with this setting, and I'd expect Ishida to do well with this, and he did. Puppet follows an unnamed main character who is the top student of his year. There are 4 classes students are sorted into. We won't focus on the other 3, but they are on the screen if you want to pause and see what they are. Our main character is in the Amber group, which is designated for standout prodigies. He is driven and arrogant and has his sights set on becoming the Jack Ace of the Amber group. However, there is something in his way. A first year named Chu Tanakamigi. His overwhelming talent stuns everyone as he earns every lead role regardless of the year level and quickly becomes the school's golden boy, earning praise from his peers and online critics. This pressure creeps in on our main character who refuses to lose. One day he is approached by one of the teachers who believes he could become the old Jean, which is the best student who plays female roles. He refuses, but the teacher urges him to train with him once before making his decision. He fails to keep up and is stunned by his skill and ability to move his body. He is now faced with the dilemma to continue trying to surpass Tanakamigi as a Jack or join him on stage as a Jean. I won't be spoiling how it ends, but I really enjoyed this one shot and the art and character design is amazing as it is with any of Ishida's works. Now on to the next story. Wilted Flower by Hinata Nakamura is a story about grief. Our main character lost his mother when he was 12. He remembers watching the flowers from her funeral wilt, and it reminded him of her. If only flowers never wilted. That one thought repeated in his head every day. Years later, we see our main character, Mizushima, being woken up in a lab. He is a college student working on an experiment. It's called the Eternal Flower, and like the name implies, he's working to create a flower that never wilts. It's his singular goal and all he focuses on, as it's the only thing that distracts him from his mother. One day he meets a girl. She's delivering flowers for the experiment. He helps her bring them in and she asks if he's the student working on the Eternal Flower. He asks how she knew that and she tells him that the professor told her. He's worried about him because he is always working late and rarely goes home and is also not eating well. These two begin to meet more and steadily grow closer and share their worries with each other. She brings him food and visits while he works and he shares what he's working on with her. And they continue to grow closer and he develops feelings for her. One day he visits her at work for a change. He tells her he has made the Eternal Flower and gifts it to her. He tells her as long as you water it every day it will live forever, but she has a solemn expression. He wanted her to have it as he feels he wouldn't have been able to create it without her. She hands it back and says she doesn't deserve such a valuable gift. They don't talk for a couple of days and he thinks she's avoiding him because someone else is handling the flower deliveries. It's her father and he mentions she's been hospitalized. Now I'm not going to spoil the rest, but it really is a beautiful story and the art suits it very nicely. I really like the way this story covers grief, especially in the ending of the story. Yuichi and Hana is a story about breaking up, or more accurately how a couple spends their final moments before leaving even when they don't want to. The story starts with Yuichi being found on the beach by Hana, who was worried he'd left. Yuichi asks if they can keep living together until he leaves for Okinawa. Of course we can, Hana responds. The next day they talk about what's going to happen. Hana has to focus on university and won't be able to spend too much time with Yuichi before he leaves. Yuichi becomes overwhelmed by the thought of leaving her and he gets up shouting he has to go for a walk. Later that night, he returns and apologizes for how he acted, and they decide to spend their final days together doing what they want, and they start off by dyeing his hair blonde. They visit an aquarium, go to the movies, and go diving, and as you can see, the art is gorgeous in this one shot. This one definitely has my favorite art of the 5 that I'm recommending. But while the days pass by, Yuichi can't help but feel they are just slowing down an inevitable end. On the last day, they go through the motions, but Hana begins to cry, and memories of the time they spent together floods in Yuichi's mind. He hugs her as they come to the realization that today's the last day they will be together. This one shot was so good, and yet again, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but the visuals used were so good and convey the struggle of the breakup so well. I recommend this one for the art alone, not to mention the story is very engaging for 49 pages, plus there is a twist ending none of you will predict. Next manga I will talk about is The Beast of the Chocolate Lily by Yu Ameri. This is a story my mother often tells me, a story of a time before I was born, of a girl in a fortress during a time of war, and a beast. They met amidst the flames of war. And I already love the beast design, I'm a sucker for monsters and creatures like that, so I was already hooked. We see a young girl named Lutifa who is exploring the fortress. She finds a secluded area of the castle while following a rabbit. She finds a beast eating the rabbit and it's communicating. It asks her if that was her rabbit. It apologizes and hands half of the rabbit back to her. And the girl smiles, even licking it. The girl can't speak but understands what the beast is saying. Later she is brought home and her father warns her about spending time with the beast. We cut to 2 generals arguing over them failing to capture one fortress. The surviving soldiers all report seeing the same thing near the fortress. A beast massacres them. The beast was a guardian who lived alongside humans, but now that the war has begun, it's a god of death that hunts invaders. As the story continues, the beast spends more time with the girl. The beast mentions that he used to spend time with the children in the village before the war, when things were peaceful. As the war worsens, the captain and girl's father becomes more unhinged and continues fighting even after the war is lost. I won't spoil the ending of Lutifa and the Beast story, but it has a very wholesome ending for a dark fantasy story and was just a good read overall. And lastly, The Egg's Birdcage by Suzuki Morino is a tale of a parent and child that surpasses even species. We see a creature flying through the forest. Another creature runs over and mentions they brought food. The larger creature has brought a human child with them. The girl was alone after an accident and the creature saved her. The smaller creature asks to eat her arm and the larger creature tells them no. They are going to raise the child. The creature then leaves with the child and apologizes for waking her. The creature names the girl Shion and takes her back to the nest. The girl is happy with her new family. The creature has longed for family and sees this girl as fate that they may finally have the family they have always wanted. We now cut 10 years later where we see Shion hunting. She notices a human across the lake and flees, returning home to the creature and telling them about what they saw. The creature tells her that they will disappear if you leave them alone, and the other creature mentions that Shion might become curious about her human side. Shion takes a look back at the human as she is pulled away. We see that later that night, Shion slipped out and met up with the human man. Shion leaves with the man and the creature in a rage goes to kill him so that Shion never leaves again. She tracks them down to a town and is prepared to attack. And you'll just have to read to find out what happens, but this is another one shot that has gorgeous art and a cool story. I especially loved the creature design. I wish all of these manga actually turned into series, as I think they could be successful if expanded upon. I hope in this video I've convinced some of you to try these one-shots, and I hope you try other one-shots as they can be extremely enjoyable sometimes, and who knows, you might be reading the early works of an author who goes on to create big-named works. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!